Hello, everybody! I'm Skyler. And
Hey.
Join. James is here too.
What's up, everybody?
Do you want to do the intro, said James? Yes, said Skyler. Yes. All right.
What's up, everybody?
James is here, of course, as this is SkyJam. Joining us are both of our brothers, Bro Kev and Jett.
Yo.
Who have also watched the direct. What is it? The special Nintendo Special E3 presentation.
Spotlight thing.
If you haven't seen our live reaction, you should definitely go check it out. It has been uploaded just 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
As of right now. So
We've got a lot to talk about
that's
here.
right. As of right now, it is still the day of the presentation. Like as of when we're recording this, we are recording this during the Treehouse presentation. During the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Park. So if there's any big announcements that have come out after this, that's why we're not covering it.
Yeah, okay. That's
Just a bit of context.
Good to mention. Alright, so I think the very first thing we saw is Rocket League, right? That Rocket League.
It was in a trailer with Splatoon 2 arms and
Just a general Switch.
yeah, Switch games we already knew about. Also Rocket League.
Yeah, also this is here.
It was like competitive games on Switch trailer.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think of it like that.
And it fits right in with the other competitive games that were shown in that little intro thing.
I agree.
And
I've never played Rocket League myself, but
Me
I
neither.
know it's popular.
You know, some of my friends have, and I've watched other people play it, and it looks like a lot of fun, and I think it's a smart game to have on the Switch. I think it fits pretty well.
Actually, can I just ask everybody, what did you think of the presentation overall?
It's good.
Better than I thought it would be. Like, it kind of exceeded my expectations.
That's huge.
In a lot of
praise.
areas.
Yeah, I think most people assumed the crux would be Super Mario Odyssey, which obviously it was, but there were some pretty big names that were thrown around aside from that.
Yes, which we'll get to.
Which we'll get to.
And don't forget the other one, Metroid.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so we saw a bit of Odyssey, mostly during the Treehouse. So they showed off a few new worlds, right?
I've only seen the trailer once, but there were definitely at least 2 or 3 new worlds in there. I definitely want to go back through it and really take in because a lot was thrown at us at once.
Yeah,
we know they're called kingdoms now.
That's true. That was slipped during the Treehouse stream.
Yeah, all I remember is there was a snowy one. There was
the dinosaur one. There was a snowy one. There was one that was all in black and white.
Oh really?
There was.
Yeah,
I didn't see.
There was some interesting stuff in there.
Huh. What else did we learned about Odyssey?
The hat ability.
Yeah, you can possess enemies or some enemies with the hat ability.
Even humans.
And even objects. He became a taxi and then a regular human man, and I am so excited for.
You reached the epitome of gaming where you can inhabit a human man.
Oh my god!
I think I remember you shouting, Skyler, Mario, you're a real boy now.
Yeah. When the first trailer came out, and people were like, "Oh, it's so weird to see him walking around humans. Like, does that mean he's not human?" It's like now he's walking around inside of humans.
It only got weirder. It only got weirder.
Yeah. I totally feel like when I'm playing this game, I'm going to be throwing my hat at everything, seeing what I can and can't inhabit, because it is also inanimate objects, and I'm very excited.
A lot of experimentation is encouraged, right?
I think it was briefly mentioned that enemies that are slightly larger than other ones can be inhabited.
In general.
Yeah.
In general, yeah. So,
I think that's nice to know.
It's really cool. Did we learn anything else about Odyssey, or was it kind of just some new stuff?
Well, hands down, my favorite mechanic so far of Odyssey is the ability to seamlessly travel between the 3D and 2D Marios in select areas.
That's right.
Which I think is just so cool.
Yeah.
I like that the collectibles, the moons, which was exciting. That's from Super Mario World. Like, a moon gave you 3 lives in Mario World, but hasn't shown up in the game since. So it's nice seeing the moon get a little bit more attention. I like how many there seemed to be per world. There were some that were just out in the world. Others where you had to do a fun climbing minigame to get to them, and then some with a boss battle for bunch of moons.
Yeah, and you mentioned that some were some looked like they were easy to get, like you said, out in the open. So that kind of leads me to believe that there are a lot of them. So that's
I love that.
That's really good.
And they noted this, and I'm very excited about it, is that you don't get booted from a world after collecting the collectible.
Yeah.
Which is so great, because that really just makes it, alright, just gonna explore and see how many I could get. I'm gonna sit down and just get as many as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Right, if you do a ton of work to get to a special area where you get a moon, you aren't then immediately kicked out. You get to really enjoy and explore that area without the moon as the goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the most recent Paper Mario game, Color Splash, had a problem that this really fixes in that in it some levels have more than one collectible and you'd have to go from the start of the level all the way to the end and get the collectible at the end, which already an issue for Paper Mario, but just putting that aside, some levels would have two collectibles like right next to each other and you'd have to go from the start to it each time and it would put you out. Like it was so frustrating to do it all again.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So I'm very happy to see that this is fixed.
Yeah, it seems like they, took notes from that and, see what people didn't like about that and changed some things.
Yeah.
So, anything else on Odyssey?
I'm so excited. The October release date is earlier than I expected.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm very happy to see that. Mario's a T-Rex. I don't know if you mentioned that yet. Pauline is in it and is the mayor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
I said I wanted other Mario characters in it in our predictions thing. And
yeah, you did.
Lo and behold. What were you saying, Jett?
It's just interesting that they brought her back.
Yeah.
She hasn't been in anything, right? As far as
She's recurring in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series with the little minis.
Right, okay.
But doesn't she make an appearance in like one of the tennis games or baseball or something?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, K. Rool's in Mario Baseball, so I can't imagine.
K. Rool.
K. Rool.
That's his latest game.
Alright.
Come back.
We also got some Breath of the Wild DLC information, as well as the modern champion, whatever you call them, heroes, people, the amiibo for them.
Oh no, they were from the past champions. Got amiibos.
Oh, they were the past.
It was Mifa and Darunia.
You're right.
Not Darunia.
You're right. It was the champions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got their amiibos, which look really cool.
We basically got like what the first pack of DLC entails, like what hard mode is and all that, and then a hint towards the second pack.
Yeah.
Which is coming out this holiday. That all looks great. I love Breath of the Wild so much. I think we all do here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There was the
just
Child of the Sword. Like Joe was saying.
Which, by the way, looks really cool. The
Yeah,
way it's just a quick little, thing for you to do, and then you go through this, whatever portal it looked like, and then to another one, and you just keep going with these little challenges.
Deeper and deeper.
That sounds really cool, especially for a game like this, where there's so many ways to tackle each thing.
Yeah, and they had all the different equipment and masks. Tingle, the Phantom, the Korok mask, the Majora's mask,
yeah.
Midna's. They did, and also what I'm very excited for, even though it's such a minor thing, is on the map seeing where you've been. Like seeing your path going through the game.
Some people are going to be running around the map drawing pictures.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Oh my god!
I hadn't thought of that. That's
like we all know what they'll draw, but like creative people can do some really fun stuff with that.
Oh, that's good.
And that'll help me find Koroks as well. So
yeah, that's true. I actually didn't know that's what the Korok mask is. So that's pretty cool. So if that's it for Breath of the Wild,
for now we're trying to get through everything quickly, and then we'll spend more time on things if we feel there's more to say.
Yeah. So we also got like a brief trailer, but a longer one than the first one of Fire Emblem Warriors. So that's
right.
We got confirmation of the other characters that we thought would be in because their weapons were in the first trailer.
Yes.
Which is Xander, Ryoma, Corrin, and Marth.
And technically Tiki, because they did a treehouse thing about Fire Emblem Warriors, and they revealed the two new Fire Emblem amiibo for Warriors, Chrom and Tiki.
Yeah.
So Tiki's in there. Like, I had no doubt Tiki was in there, but Tiki's in there, right? That would be a weird amiibo to put out without her being in the game.
Yeah, that is weird that they showed that off without actually confirming that she's in the game. But it basically does anyway.
For a character who spends so much time in the Fire Emblem universe and is in several games, it makes sense that she appears in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
And she represents a unique playstyle being, dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be...
Looking forward to seeing dragons wrecking countless enemies in that game.
Who just can't stand there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's cool because Corrin has like some dragon aspects, but Tiki's like a full-fledged dragon.
Full size.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice seeing all the detail they're putting into that. We learned a lot more about it during the treehouse bit, and there's a lot of Fire Emblem. There's a lot more Fire Emblem in Fire Emblem Warriors than I realized mechanically, and that was nice to see.
We were laughing at Xander's horse doing flips and tricks.
Oh yeah,
very acrobatic horse.
Oh, that horse is the best.
But even from the way that the characters level up and gain experience and increase in certain areas, and also what do you call it? The weapons triangle.
Yeah.
Also is a factor in this game.
Interesting, yeah.
So
absolutely
cool how they're incorporating that.
And they have confirmed that there will be playable like Pegasus Knights and Archers, so I imagine that's going to be there too. Archers being effective against Pegasus,
Pegasus units. Playing them, that could be really interesting. it'd be even more acrobatic than the horse we've seen, which I can't imagine.
You can't even picture, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That horse already was flying, so...
At that point, the Pegasus would just be a Beyblade. I don't know how it could be any more, rotational, if you will.
There was a Beyblade in Hyrule Warriors, so that would make sense.
Listen to the developers, it's like, we're really proud of the horse physics in this game. We worked really hard on them.
We have put 100% of our funding into horse physics, and I think you'll all like to see why. I mean, it's like hand-drawn Fire Emblem characters on a super realistic HD horse.
Oh my god, all of the budget.
All of the budget.
Oh.
Horse Simulator 3000, Fire Emblem Edition.
Yes.
Anything else on that right now, or should we move on?
I mean, I've got so many predictions on who else will be in, but I feel like we mentioned that could be its own podcast.
Yeah, we might do that.
But Jett and Kevin, do you have any other thoughts on who could be in?
Well, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Like we mentioned, they're mainly taking from Shadow Dragon, Awakening, and Fates.
Right.
But they said mostly, so they could draw any character from anywhere, technically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting.
I guess we'll see.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah,
we will.
Something we got that was like totally unexpected and out of nowhere, because there was like, Kirby has 3DS games coming out, but we got
Kirby had 3 games announced already this year.
Yeah, and we just got confirmation for a Kirby Switch game coming in 2018.
And I think this might actually be the game I'm most excited for right now. Which is, I love Kirby, but like this game, just from the little bit we saw, and I want to watch that trailer again, seems to have a lot of mechanics and powers in it that have only existed in one previous Kirby game, or like 1 or 2 previous Kirby games, and this one is just pulled all of them in. It's got the animal friends from Kirby's Dream Land 2 and 3. It has the combining abilities from 64 and the different type of combining abilities from Squeak Squad, and it's got the multiplayer of Return to Dreamland and the creating enemy companions from Superstar. Like, it has it all, and I am so excited.
It does look like it has a lot of like the good elements from other games.
Yeah, it's like Kirby's one of those franchises like Pokemon that each new entry, they're all fairly similar, but they each like have this one unique thing they do.
Yeah.
And this one's just like, no, all of that, everybody, bring your favorite Kirby game, and we're going to make Kirby Soup.
Kirby Soup.
Most importantly, though, Curling Stone Kirby.
The Curling Stone Kirby is there.
Oh my goodness. I want that to be the game title now, Kirby Soup.
Kirby Soup? I can get behind that.
I would drink some.
It would be like Cook Kirby on a pot, cooking in a pot, like for the cover, but then the liquid is also Kirby's face. And it looks like it's a reflection, but like, wait, no, it's also facing you.
And if you look at it under a microscope, the Kirby Soup face is made of a bunch of little Kirbys.
Yes, and that's how they get, what is the one with 10 Kirbys? What's that get? You played that one, I didn't get played. Mass Attack? Kirby Mass Attack.
Yeah,
that's how they get Mass Attack.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a Kirby game where Kirby split into 10 smaller Kirbys and you control them all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. But
I think you use your stylus, I forget.
Yeah, you flick them around the screen.
So weird.
Oh, that's fun. We also saw briefly that there was a Yoshi game happening.
Yeah.
That like, at first, some of us thought it was like Epic Yarn, some of us were like, oh no, it's drawn. Wait, the enemies aren't Yarn. What is this?
Yeah, it just looks like a Yoshi. I'm still on the side of it's just the next Yoshi game separate from the Yarn franchise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily be wrong, but I like the flipping, like 180 degrees around the screen thing.
Yeah, I have to like watch that again. I was just kind of trying to figure out what it was while it was happening.
It was a lot to take in. Like the whole direct went by so quickly.
Yeah, it was just rapid fire.
I feel like I got punched in the stomach over and over again, like good punches in the stomach, like the kind like when you're
good punches,
like a bunch of Falcon punches straight to
the
gut.
My goodness, yes.
The best kind of punches, obviously.
Yeah,
quality punches,
very delicious.
Much like Kirby Soup.
Oh man, I can go for some Kirby Soup and punch.
We sort of have like mixed feelings about this next one, but there's like a Mario and Rabbids game happening. Does anyone have anything to say about that specifically, or not really?
I'm gonna say that every time I look at this game, I am liking it more, legitimately, and I don't want to like it because I don't like Rabbids, but I feel like they're going to redeem themselves in my eyes with this game. I feel like they're going to eventually they will endear themselves to me, and I will enjoy dealing with party members who are Rabbids, while I further enjoy shooting other Rabbids with Mario and his gun. Mario has a gun. Yep. He's hiding behind cover as he shoots
Rabbits.
Yeah.
Rabbits, basically.
Yeah.
But the gameplay looks great, and the art looks great, so...
It's interesting.
It does actually look like really well, like, rendered or something. Like, the graphics do look really good.
Yeah, it's got a very nice style to it.
If it weren't Rabbids, I bet we all would be, like, super excited for that game.
Yeah,
like, as
just
one
be
of
a
our
fun,
top
weird
games
Mario.
that we're excited for.
Yeah, we were watching like a little bit of the gameplay at the treehouse, and we were like, actually, this looks like a good strategy game, like the way it works and everything.
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah,
makes
I agree.
Sense.
It's well thought out. It has skill trees, apparently.
Yeah,
in
there's,
a Rabbids
like-
game.
And
Weird.
you, like, buy the different upgrades and guns and stuff. One of
Yeah.
the guns is a bazooka made of a warp pipe.
Oh, really? I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know.
Luigi uses the poltergust. There's a lot to enjoy. And then you just also have to put up with the rabbits. Well, legitimately, some of the rabbit stuff was funny. The Peach rabbit kind of not being interested in actual Peach, like kind of like holding up the fabric of her dress and being like unimpressed.
Yeah, exactly.
That was cute.
If nothing else, it's a safe, strange avenue for Mario to explore a shooter strategy game.
Yeah.
Which you may have not normally been able to be
Yeah, it's been a
afforded,
while.
so.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird one. I'm interested to see where it goes. I would have loved to see Rayman in it because, you know, it's a Rayman franchise, Rabbids, but they're just their own thing now, I guess. Which, again, like Despicable Me and Minions, they've become their own thing.
That's kind of true.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Shivers down me spine.
I'm sorry for bringing that up, everybody.
So there was like a really short thing of the Pokemon director guy. I guess, was he from Game Freak?
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
So he's the Game Freak dude.
He's the Game Freak.
He's the Game Freak, that's right.
Freak.
He was like, yeah, Pokken's coming out, you Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Also, we're making a Pokemon RPG for the Switch. So,
by the way,
canon, yeah, he pretty much just said it
he-
would be like all the other ones.
On no uncertain terms, the way he phrased it is like they did not want any confusion. It's like a mainline RPG Pokemon game coming on the Nintendo Switch, and I am so excited.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm most excited for. I don't know what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. This is such a good E3.
It really was. Like, a lot of things took me by surprise.
I am normally after an E3, I'm really excited about like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for these 2 or 3 games. And this time I'm just like, every game is coming up on the trailer, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to watch. We got to learn more about this next game. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's an avalanche.
Yeah, you're right. Like, a lot of this stuff we did know about, but most of it we didn't. And the things we didn't know about are like, oh, this looks good. You know?
And the release schedule is looking really good too. Like, we've got a game at least every other month at the furthest apart going for the rest of the year for the Switch, which is nice. I think it even gets
things
closer to
releasing earlier than expected, which, you know.
Xenoblade 2 this year.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Good segue there. So Xenoblade 2...
You're welcome, James.
So Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, looks really good, in my opinion. Like, I was a real fan of Xenoblade Chronicles. You know, I liked it a lot more than X. Like, X I liked, but not nearly as much. And I'm glad it's a sequel to Shulk's game, which is Chronicles.
I feel like that's the general consensus between those two.
Yeah, I think so. You know, X did a lot of things different that, you know, some things I did like, some of them I didn't. But overall, the game looks really awesome and...
beautiful, for sure.
We just watched a little bit of the gameplay of it at the treehouse, and, like, the way the drivers work and the blades, like, it looks
Definitely
like
cool.
They're really changing up the combat a little bit, and having the arts assigned to buttons is really smart, because you don't have to, like...
Sorry, continue.
Smarts. You don't have to, like, scroll to a certain art, then press it. Like, it looks like it's going to work really well, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta say, the whole drivers and blades thing, I'm so excited for that. That reminds me so much of Golden Sun. I mentioned that while we were watching the Treehouse. The way that the Djinn work in Golden Sun, where you could assign them to your different party members and they give them different abilities and stuff, is at least reminiscent of this blade system. And I love that the blades are each their own characters.
Yeah.
And you have your party members separate. Like, it's like a combination of the Djinn from Golden Sun and Summons from Final Fantasy in my eyes. Like,
yeah.
I'm really liking that system.
I'm not familiar with Golden Sun that much, but I know what you mean. Like,
I know.
By the Final Fantasy summons, like, I know what you mean.
I like that they're on giant monsters.
Yeah, the Titans are
so cool.
A lot like the Bionis and Mechonis from the first one.
I live for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't know a lot about the Xenoblade franchise, one thing that I heard them talking about was that this game was going to be very character-driven, and that kind of makes me hope that they're going to develop these characters and learn more about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you call
drivers.
Them? The drivers, yes.
Yeah.
Learn more about the drivers, not just as, weapons to use, but maybe as individual characters with motivations and backstories and things like that.
And before E3, I personally kind of thought that, the main guy Rex was the driver, and that was his purpose, and he was special for that reason. But there are multiple drivers.
Even enemy drivers.
There are enemy drivers as well as other drivers in your party, and that alone is interesting. And there are drivers and blades. So it sounds like it's a really interesting way to mix up the combat.
Yeah, and the enemy driver they did show, it wasn't some boss battle. It was just a guy who was near, a board in a town.
Yeah. One sign of the player.
Yeah, so he was in the town too, which is interesting.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of enemy and allied drivers, I assume. Probably most of the characters.
Yeah.
I like that there are multiple titans, each with their own environment on their back that you'll be able to go to. It's just a world that seems ripe to explore and just learn about whatever story they have to tell in it.
Yeah.
It seems like a trend recently for games to go really big, whether it's the enemies or the worlds that we're inhabiting. Everything is on a really grand scale, and maybe that's partially because of the capabilities we have now to make games that big, but there's just something alluring about being in a giant world with huge quests and huge enemies and huge structures to explore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think everyone's really cashing in on that, and good for us that they are.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
A lot of open world recently, I agree. So many open world games. We got Breath of the Wild, all of Xenoblade that are coming up, the new Mario game.
Yeah, Mario's super open, more so than ever.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a big trend.
And I think
that's a trend I enjoy.
I think it does have a lot to do with what you just said. The consoles are able to handle that now. We're at that point in technology where the games can be this expansive, which is awesome.
I agree. It reminds me of when they were talking about the development of Breath of the Wild, and they said how with Wind Waker they wanted to do the open world, but the GameCube just couldn't handle it, so they kind of flooded it. So that was just the islands
water,
you had to worry about.
Which was very noticeable, all that water.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Wind Waker, but I'm glad they ended up...
it's true, they could not hide that water as well as they tried to. It was certainly noticeable.
But, I mean, even so, I mean, there was some excitement and wonder to just exploring the oceans like that.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike any other Zelda game previous.
Yeah. They built the rest of the game around it in a way that made it work for them.
Yeah.
And whenever I talk about Breath of the Wild in general, I talk about how, playing the older Zelda games, such as Majora's Mask, that's James's favorite, classically, and mine as well, because we grew up with it first. But I played that game as close as I could to an open world game. I enjoyed just exploring it, even after I'd already beaten it, done all the side quests, exploring it, even though you knew what you were going to find, sort of trying to use your imagination and make it more than it was. Breath of the Wild has really allowed you to do that to the fullest extent, and it's sort of like a dream come true to play a game like that for me. I'm playing through it right now, and I'm loving it.
Yes. I agree with every word of that. That is so very true. A lot of games, I find that a lot of games from when you're young, you have unique experiences with because of the way that you play it is different from the way other people play it. You kind of make up your own story as you're doing, and that's something Miyamoto had said way back in an interview about Pikmin. The reason there's not a big story in Pikmin other than you have to find the stuff and get back out is because he wanted people to be able to kind of create their own story just by playing around in the world. And I feel like, especially looking at Odyssey, it looks so ripe for that as well. It looks like it's just, you just go, you become whatever you want, just go be a T-Rex or have a sombrero, Mario, just...
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun and surprises, and something that I love from when I was young that rarely happens to me until very recently anymore is that when I was little, I'd start a game and not know how big that game is. I'd start a game and it could be infinite. I didn't know. I did not have access to the internet regularly. There was not the internet was very different when I was younger. It's any game could be huge. It's only once you beat the game that you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I had the internet and the people talking about games online. You know a lot of what a game is going into it. I remember knowing all the roster of Brawl before Brawl came out, and I was like, oh, there's not that surprise. There's no how big is this? What is the scope anymore? Like, Super Bomberman R was announced, and I'm like, I love that as Bomberman, but I know how big this game is going to be, which is not something I felt with Bomberman 64, Bomberman Generations. Like, I get what they're doing. I understand how game design works. I know what's reasonable. And that's why games like Breath of the Wild, I'm just like, oh, shoot. Yes, I love this.
Yeah.
Because they're just, when they said, like, you can't do everything in Breath of the Wild. Like, it's just not realistic to. I was like, oh my god, sign me up! I love that there are 900 Koroks and I will just never find them all. Because I don't want to use a guide, I just want to stumble onto them forever, as long as I have this game to play.
Exactly, yeah.
And one last thing I think I just wanted to say about... we're kind of just talking about using imagination and playing games and having different approaches and different styles and almost different motivations when left to our own devices about playing a game. And I think it's, even what we're doing right now, like talking about video games out loud and like until you have those conversations with people, you may not even realize that your way of playing is unique or different. You might assume it to be, maybe the obvious way to play until you talk to someone else who approaches something from a completely different angle. And that's, just sort of to get a little deep and meta here, that's kind of what's great about all this, is like, everyone's showing their personality and their own view on the world and the worlds we're inhabiting when playing.
That's right. I mean, video games really stand out as a medium because of that. Like with movies, everybody has the same movie experience, generally. It might be like the circumstances in which you watch a movie might be different, the people you watch it with might make it different.
The way you interpret it.
But the movie itself is the same for everyone. Everybody's experience with any game is going to be different, even if in a minute way. Even a simple like NES game, like, I don't know, Metroid on the NES could be uniquely different to everybody. So what's the next game we're talking about, James?
Well, I was gonna say, just right before we get to like the main surprise.
I tried, everybody. I tried. James is taking this somewhere else. I had the wheel, and then James was like, you're looking out the back of the car, Skyler. We're going in this direction.
Listen, I want to save Metroid for last.
I understand that.
And there's like one little thing before that, which is just that there's a Splatoon, ARMS, and Pokken tournament.
Oh, that's right. That's happening tonight.
I always forget.
I'm so excited. Oh, shoot. ARMS is coming out on Friday. That's the day this comes out on our channel.
Oh, yeah.
ARMS comes out. That's crazy.
Happy ARMS, everyone.
Yeah, enjoy your ARMS.
Happy ARMS Day.
Make the most of your ARMS.
Yeah.
We will stream it as soon as we can.
ARMS.
Use your ARMS.
There were a lot of pirate games at E3 this year.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the tournaments. We haven't watched them yet because they haven't happened yet. But I love that they're doing 3 tournaments of 3 games all coming out this summer.
Yeah.
It's June, July, and September, these 3 games. That's like...
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
These tournaments are like reminders like, by the way, these are soon, so...
Yeah, shoot.
Get your hands on them.
My god, if Fire Emblem comes out in November, it's like a Switch game every month, actually, now that I'm thinking about it again.
Yeah.
Because we got June is ARMS, July is Splatoon 2, not sure about August, September is... Pokken.
Yeah.
November is Mario Odyssey.
October is
Mario Odyssey. November could be Fire Emblem Warriors. December could be Xenoblade 2.
It could be, yeah.
We might hit the game every month.
Wow.
Ideal, which would be so nice.
I didn't think about that till now. That's interesting. But yeah, now let's talk about freaking Metroid. Because we got confirmation that Metroid Prime 4 is on the way, even if it's years from now.
Thank you! That's all we needed, was just that reassuring pat on the head, like, no, we know, it's coming.
Yeah, like, even when we talked about it in our prediction podcast, like, me personally, I did not think they would actually announce it, and they did. Like, they're finally, like, listening to, those fans who are like, please, Metroid, and, like, they're like, okay.
And that trailer was so good, as it formed, like, the logo.
Yeah.
The cloud.
The logo and the Prime 4 is all we needed.
If you watched our reaction video, you know how we've just freaked out the moment we saw the Chozo symbol formed in the cloud.
I think additionally hilarious is Jett, who is not familiar with the Metroid Prime franchise at all. It was just like, what are you guys excited about? Because there was no logo yet. We were all like shouting and loud.
I was very confused.
We just saw space at first. I'm like, wait, let's not freak out yet. And then it became the logo, and it's like, yes!
Yeah. As soon as I saw space, I was like, it could be Metroid, but it could be like Star Fox, or it could be Pikmin, it could be any. Like, so many of these franchises are insane. And then it was Metroid.
Yeah. It was what we all wanted it to be.
Needed it to be.
Yeah.
Needed it to be.
Yeah. And like the only way they could have made that better is to announce another Metroid game later on during the Treehouse.
Which, whoops, They did.
How you like that segue, James? Yeah, high five!
Just
Hey,
give-
look, they're
give the
okay.
praise.
Right now they're announcing Amiibo of Goomba and Koopa on the
Whoa.
Treehouse stream. We haven't muted, but we're still watching it while we're recording this. They're adorable.
But anyway, Metroid Samus Returns is the name of that game.
Oh my god, what a hype reveal. Metroid 1 and 2 remade with new abilities and features, and I can't wait to get my hands on that.
I love that. First of all, it's like 3D but 2D. Like I love that idea of it. There's like little combat cinematic things going on.
That uppercut.
And like you mentioned, there's like new abilities, which for new players is like an option for like, if you want a little help, or if, you could use it, or you could choose not to if you're a veteran player.
Oh, right, like the map thing. I literally just meant the uppercut, but you're right. There are actual other new abilities as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a I think that's a great way for new players and old players to enjoy it about the same amount. It's totally your choice for what you want to use at your disposal.
And I do remember I've never played Metroid 1 or 2, so I'm excited to get the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember hearing that both of the first two Metroid games are like balls hard. So I can see why these would be helpful. Yeah, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
That's an oxymoron. Balls aren't actually hard, but
I know.
You understand what I mean.
I am aware. I am man.
Moving on!
I think we all kind of agreed that, this game will be a great way to get, people who may have forgotten about the franchise or haven't played it in a long time, or completely
We're born in the 10 years since the last Metroid Prime.
Born in the last decade since a quality Metroid game. So I think it'll be a good way to get everybody together and prepped and ready and hyped for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Now what?
And hopefully more. I hope they make more games on that engine, like another new Metroid.
Absolutely, they could do like a fusion remake. Like that would be awesome.
Oh man, I'd be all over that.
We're all like
fusion.
Now what makes the Metroid Prime games unique to other Metroid games? Because I haven't really seen any Metroid Prime games in my experience.
So Metroid Prime games are first-person perspective, as to where the older ones are like a 2D platformer.
Gotcha.
They both have that kind of exploration, find your way around to everything feel. But first-person shooter versus 2D platformer.
Gotcha.
Well, and that's just it too. Is when Metroid Prime came out, it was very much it felt open world for considering what was out there.
And it was after 14 years of no Metroid game.
It was able to bring to life the franchise in a way that it had never had been before, in this very visceral experience of, basically being Samus, seeing from her point of view, which was very special. And also, in addition to, exploring the world and fighting your enemies, the idea that you could scan pretty much anything, whether it be lore, what do you call it? Chozo lore or enemies, and filling your logbook, and you were basically a scientist as much as you were a bounty hunter.
Interesting.
And it's a very cool way. Again, another way you can play the game. Some people might not care at all about scanning all the flora and fauna of these planets, and some people might be all over it.
Oh yeah.
So
it was like the Pokedex in Breath of the Wild, where you can take the pictures of everything and get the lore for each enemy.
Exactly, it's
actually,
exactly like that.
Yeah.
So at the time, it was. I mean, I loved it. I was all about it.
Yeah.
It put story into Metroid where there wasn't a ton yet.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it built that lore up in a huge way. There were only 3 Metroid games before that, I believe, other than maybe Pinball. Not even.
Pinball.
Which were 1, 2, and Super Metroid.
Ooh, Splatoon 2.
Yeah,
on the
TV. On the TV, we'll get there in a second. We'll wrap it up here soon, but in Metroid, Metroid Prime existing was amazing, because Super Metroid, which many people consider to be the best Metroid game, was panned by reviews when it came out. It was considered terrible.
And why is that?
Because it was the Super Nintendo, and games were starting to get easier because the NES was made to be as difficult as arcades, and arcade games are made to be difficult so people spend more money on them.
Right.
But for a home console, that's not a thing anymore, so they focus more on making it fun, but people were still used to the difficulty, and so they thought, oh, they made Metroid too easy, this is terrible. Because people are fickle. But, it's happening again. We're having the second 2-game rebirth of Metroid, the way that Prime and Zero Mission happened in the past at the same time.
We can only hope they keep it more steadily paced than they have, these past 10 years. Of course they're giving us Prime 4, that's fantastic in so many different ways, but I really hope, at least every 3 years there's a new Metroid game, like something like that.
Maybe there was a point I remember where when Skyward Sword came out, was announced at E3 way back when, and I thought to myself, wow, they really don't make Zeldas often enough. And since then we've gotten like a Zelda game and a half every year, so like maybe that's where we are now.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. And, like, of course, they're, like, really main series things, like Breath of the Wild. Like, like, the next, like, main series Zelda isn't going to come out for a long time.
No.
But, like, they're also, like...
But they, like, weren't spin-offs back then, and now we get, like, Triforce Heroes, and we get...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, like, we could still get, like, a, somewhat lesser Zelda, like, soon,
Oh, totally. And, somebody else, what's up next? Is there anything else
That was all the things on our list here.
Okay.
Nice.
So, any final thoughts that we could talk about here?
Jett?
No.
Kevin?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the main stuff. I mean, we could all go around saying what we're most excited about. I think I'm obviously hands down Metroid is just the most mind blowing thing to me so far. I don't think any of us were expecting the 3DS game Samus Returns.
No.
It looks amazing. It's not just to hold us over. It really does look good. They really did improve on several things in past games of that kind. And it looks like it's going to be genuinely... like I was excited just watching it. Some of the new combat mechanics look awesome and are smart and aren't over the top. And I actually genuinely can't wait to play that. And I said before this, we didn't expect to hear much about Metroid Prime 4. I could have waited another 2 years for this, but knowing it's coming out in 2018 or whenever is pretty great.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah. I agree. Probably the thing I'm most hyped for is Metroid Prime 4, like probably a lot of people. I guess just to say something different, like I'm also super excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think that looks really cool.
James, a big Xeno fan.
I am indeed.
Jett, what are you most excited for?
It's hard to say. I'm excited for Rocket League, actually.
Okay, looks like this really interesting choice. They're starting an ARMS segment, it looks like, so we have a little bit more time than we expected.
Okay.
So go on.
But yeah, I'm excited for that because I never really got to play the game, and I know a lot of people who did play it and said it was really great, so I think on the Switch I actually would try playing it.
That'd be fun. And it's got cross-platform play, which is fun.
Which is interesting. The Pokemon on the Switch, I kind of expected that, but it's really cool, and I'd love
Jet
to
was
hear
not
more
dissuaded by Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon the way so many others were.
Yeah.
Jet was still like, no, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, it
you were
seems
smart
like
to
the
think
way
that.
to go. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's it for me. But otherwise, it looks really good.
I'm so excited for Kirby and Odyssey, of course. I think Odyssey is my number one right now because it's so amazing looking. It's so soon too. Kirby's next year. I'll be excited as we see more of that. I'm excited for a lot of release dates we haven't gotten yet that I'm curious about. Metroid Return to Samus. I'd like to know when that's coming out. Ultimate Chicken Horse and a lot of other indie games. Wargroove, I'd like to know their release dates.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll show them during today or tomorrow on the Treehouse, an indie game segment. I'm sure they will at some point.
Yeah.
Next year looks really good for games too. Already we know so many, and others that weren't mentioned here. Fire Emblem on the Switch. There's a lot happening still.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't really highlighted here so much, but I'm most excited for ARMS. I take back what I said earlier.
That's true.
I know. I can't really.
We're looking at ARMS now, so that helps.
It's not. It's coming out so soon, so it's not something
so soon.
That E3 really.
Yeah, they didn't need to show it off until now.
It didn't bring it up.
Right.
Per se.
Yeah.
But that's probably what I'm most excited for because right now, I can't get super excited for something in a year or 2 years, but I'm so excited for ARMS.
Jet's very in the moment.
ARMS looks great.
Yeah.
It does. We're looking at it right now. They're playing as the two characters who weren't in the test punch.
I'd love to know it's unique to them.
Yeah,
It's the Scorpion guy and the Police Robot Dogman.
Yeah, Kid Cobra and Bite and Bark. So yeah, if that's everything we have to say, I'd just say fantastic E3 all around. The other companies did great too. I know we focus on Nintendo here on SkyJam, but Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were other good games as well. Kingdom Hearts 3, that wasn't technically part of E3.
Yeah. Just in general, just a little side comment. You mentioned other companies. I've generally lost interest in the Assassin's Creed, franchise as time's gone on. This new one looks pretty good. So I'm not
It's like an RPG. There's leveling up, and enemies have levels too.
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm not all over it, but I'm interested. You know, I'm gonna check it out.
That's fair.
So thank you all for listening to us talk for almost an hour.
Yeah, we'll probably do another podcast before long about Fire Emblem Warriors at some point along the way before that comes out.
Yeah.
Me and James will do like a roster prediction thing because that could be fun. Excellent E3 Nintendo. Also blew away my expectations. You said that at the beginning, but I agree. I know there will be people who are upset that there isn't Smash, but I already was resigned to the fact that it was unlikely beforehand, and I was okay with that. So I'm just so happy to see what we have, and who knows what other little surprises are along the way after we've recorded this, because we got Mario Luigi Superstar Saga just as we started, and I'm sure they'll probably reveal something before one of the tournaments or after one of the tournaments.
Yeah,
who knows?
True. It could be at any point.
Man.
So thank you all for listening once again, and thank you, Jett and Kevin, for joining us.
Yeah. Anytime, bro.
Our first guest podcast.
It's been a big fun bro down.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Bro down,
not really
showdown.
bro down. There was no showdown, but bro talk.
Fiesta.
Very good.
On that note, bye everybody.
We love you.
Peace.
Jett, say a thing.
Thing.
Say leaf.
Leaf.
Cool.